Yeah, I know one other student also had a class during this time, but
Okay, if I understand correctly, it's recording as we speak.
yeah. Okay, great. So we can get a link. We'll get a link to the recording eventually.
Yeah. I will send you, I guess, a link to the recording. Are you seeing the database screen now? Because I just started sharing.
Yep.
Yeah, we are. We see. Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, so when you're ready, you let me know.
Yeah, let's just give 2 more minutes. I'm just going to email.
I'm in no rush.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm just emailing someone. I was wondering if Guy from the library was going to come, because I thought he'd be interested. But...
All right. He was CC'd to all our emails.
Yeah, and he was sort of the one who arranged for the subscription. But all right, we'll see. We'll give him 2 more minutes, and then maybe we'll start.
I've emailed with him probably 40 times now, and I don't think I've ever met him. Can't put a face to his name, but nicest guy over email.
Yeah, he's super nice. No, he showed up in our department faculty meeting, or maybe it was a student faculty meeting, or maybe it was the new graduate student meeting at the beginning of the year I mean, it was on Zoom, but he was there to talk about Judaic studies resources. So.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a picture of him on the library, the library internet site. Oh, man.
Well, Professor Shippen said he was going to come. I don't know what happened. But we'll give him 1 more minute, then maybe we'll just start. You can always catch the recording. So what class are you teaching now, Moshe?
Well, before I was doing actually Talmud Yerushalmi. We're doing Megillah, the 3rd parak. That's not an official class. It's part of the the college, and in the college doing regular Jewish studies. Since it's a very business-oriented college, everything has to be connected, So it's either like insurance and Judaism or social studies in Judaism. It's a Torah va'avoda type of thing.
Got it. Huh. Insurance and Judaism. Okay. It's not a bad idea for an NYU course, huh?
Yeah,
There's actually a really interesting book, or booklet, I should say, by somebody the name of Vivian Zelitzer. I think this was her doctorate, Morals and Markets, where she talks about like how difficult and why it was so difficult to get a market for life insurance, and the different attitudes of the different religions to the morality or to the legality of actually having a life insurance.
So you have them read that?
Halavai, it's in English. But I drew heavily on that.
Got it. All right. Well, why don't we get started? And since it's being recorded, whoever's not here can always.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So I would say good evening, but I guess for you it's good afternoon. And I'm happy that we've been able to finally work this out. What I would like to do in the next, I guess, whatever, half an hour, 40 minutes, is to take you through the Talmud Yerushalmi database. This is basically a very powerful reference tool. I mean, as you know, learning Yerushalmi more than Bavli is quite difficult because we don't have almost any manuscripts. We have almost no Rishonim. So any little type, any tiny scrap of information, be it wherever it is, could be quite important. So this database really has under one roof 4 separate databases. The most important database is a collection of hopefully all medieval and Gaonic references to the Yerushalmi. Any time one of the Rishonim or the Gaonim quotes or alludes or paraphrases Yerushalmi should appear in this database. That's one group. The other group is actually a list of the few Gniza fragments that we do have on the Yerushalmi. Recently, the Ginze Yerushalmi came out, the long-awaited completion of the Sridei Yerushalmi. And again, you have a reference to every single Yerushalmi that appears in that book, in the Ginze Yerushalmi. These are the 2 most important databases, the actual Kit'ei Gniza, the fragments of Gniza of the Yerushalmi, and Rishonim that refer to the Yerushalmi. In addition to that, there's quite an extensive database which references you to different academic works that have spoken or dealt with the Yerushalmi. Of course, Zussman and Epstein and Assis and Maskowitz are all in there, as well as many others. And a 4th, much smaller database is Achronim, different rabbinic works, I guess, which I personally found to be useful when studying Yerushalmi, are also referenced there. These are the 4 databases. You do one search and you get back the information from all 4 of them. And after having said that, let's just look what happens. What you have in front of you now really is just a screenshot. If you enter this database through NYU, you'll land on a page which looks pretty much like this one. And instead of getting this little sign here, Hagisha B'chasut Universitat Bar Ilan, you'll get access enabled by NYU Library. I don't remember the exact text that it says there. If you reach this page, you know that you're in the right place. If you see up here in the upper left-hand corner, you have 2 little flags, right? One is the Israeli flag and one is the American flag. And if you choose the American flag, you'll actually get an English interface. I was hoping for that to be the default, but it isn't. So all you got to do, I guess, at first stage is just to look for your little flag, and then you're into English. So this is what your landing page should look like. Over here you have Bar Ilan, and you'll have NYU. I'm going into my database, which looks a little bit different, but this is, once you press that other key there, you know, Ma'avar LaMarechet, you'll come to this page as follows. So I'm going to do it all, I guess, in English, unless you specifically prefer for me to do it in Hebrew, you know, with the interface.
Yeah, no, English is probably fine.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, you know, in Israel, most of the internet sites use the English, the UK flag for to change languages. But being an American citizen, I figured I'd use the American flag. Anyway, yeah. So this is basically the most important page here, and I'm just going to start from the top going down. So on the top, you have, you know, the red bar on the top is going to accompany you throughout your journey in the database. No matter where in the database you are, you will have this entire red bar up on top, and this takes you to all the different parts of the database. So I'll start, I think, with the searches. You have over here on the left, you have a search, and you press that bar. I'm already there, and you get a number of searches. the first search is by column and row. And maybe just to understand what this means, I'm going to take you to the actual Talmud Yerushalmi. Maybe I should have started there. Let's hope that it's not too slow. What you have here is actually the ability to open up any page in the Yerushalmi according to the academic edition. If you can see, this is probably the famous one. This is the Talmud Yerushalmi that was put out, I guess, in 2001, which is a very good rendition of the Leiden manuscript. Now, everything in my database really works based on the pagination here. So, for example, here I've opened up Masechet Yevamot. This is what that Yerushalmi looks like. And the way this book works is that there are columns, and each column has a number at the bottom. For example, here we're at 829. And of course, you have line numbers going from 1 through 50. So the best way to do a search is, supposing you're learning the beginning of Masechet Yevamot, and you wanted to get back anything or everything that there is on, say, the sugya beginning from the top of the over here, let's say down to line 10. So the parameters you would insert going back to the actual search database, column row, you would put in the first column, which is 829, and you would put in line number 1 because we're starting from the top. The database automatically fills in the 2 column because more often than not, your sugya is going to be on the same column, but you can change it. And then the row, in our case, let's do the first 11 lines. Before I actually do the search, let me just go back to that Yerushalmi. Right? So I really chose, this is column 829. So I chose lines 1 through 11. So anything and everything that exists on these 11 lines, I should get back as soon as I do search. So are we okay up until now? This is how the search works. You got to plug in the parameters of the sugya based on this version of the Yerushalmi. So that's why it's so useful that you can actually open up this Yerushalmi here, wherever you want to. And I'm going to do a search. Okay, not very impressive, because on all these first 11 lines, all I get back is one result. Okay, so I did a search. This is the result table. And just notice that this table is going to be in Hebrew, even when you choose the English interface. And of course, the information itself is going to be in Hebrew. What did we get here? So as I said before, there are 4 separate databases. So the first column over here is going to tell you which database is giving you information. Ma'agar in Hebrew means database, and it's Rishonim. So all we have here is one appearance from the Rishonim, and it gives you a pinpoint information what exactly of those 11 lines this Rishon is talking about. So you remember, I chose lines 1 through 11, but I'm being told here that this Rishon is referring only to lines 1 through 5. You see over here, Tur Shura, you're getting back here 829, 1 through 5. Now, this is important because, sometimes you're really more interested at the beginning or the middle, the end. So this tells you exactly which lines are being discussed. And here you have the reference. In this case, it's Erchei Tanaim V'Amoraim. That's the name of the book. This is the source inside, and this is the actual text that you're getting back. I'm going to choose something from Brachot, just so that we get a more impressive result table so that I can explain things in a clear fashion. Oops, sorry about that. I'm going to move myself away from here. Okay, so if I want to do another search, I can just press clear. I don't even have to press clear. I can just, just write over it. So now I'll just give you a little a targil, a little experiment question. You could probably guess. Supposing I wanted the first, 10 lines of Yerushalmi brachot. So there it would be column 1, and I would choose row 1, and it would be to column 1 to row 11. Right, so now I'm really choosing the first 11 lines of Yerushalmi brachot, and let's see what I get back. I press search. Okay, so this is a little bit more impressive, and in general, brachot always has a lot of stuff, but let's just go over some of these things here so you see what's happening. Going back to this first column, the ma'agar, you already see that there are actually gniza fragments on the Yerushalmi that you chose. So that's the words kit'ei gniza. That means gniza fragments. And again, you're given, precise parameters of what that gniza fragment covers. We're interested in lines 1 through 11, but this particular gniza fragment goes from line 1 through 45. And it's that book, the Zusman book, in the Yerushalmi, page 2. If you open that up there, you actually can see the fragment which refers to this. Here we're lucky enough to have 2 fragments. It's a good thing we did the Yevamos one first, that you appreciate the fact that most of the Yerushalmi will not have any gniza fragments. Then you get a long list of Rishonim. Of course, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can just at least get the impression of the amount of information that is here. You have from Shibulei Aleket and the Rav Yan, Machzor Vitri, the Rashba, the Rosh, basically all the Rishonim are here. You get the exact lines that they're talking about. Now here it's interesting, you'll notice that I chose lines 1 through 11. But if you're reading the results that I got, I'm really not getting anything on the first lines of the Yerushalmi. I see that everything here is focused on lines 9 through 12. So even though you're getting a lot of information here, it's really a little bit disappointing because almost none of this is talking about the bulk of the sugya. They're all focused on the last line or so, and the first 10 lines of the sugya here are really empty. I see here there's a Meiri that talks about lines 4 through 9, but not more than that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please do. Please just, interrupt and ask your question. Yeah.
I'm just curious how you compiled the database of Rishonim.
Okay, that was for the end, but I'm happy to answer that now. Actually, pretty simple. I started out by using the Bar Ilan Shoot project. The Bar Ilan Shoot project has, of course, a tremendous amount of everything. What I did is I chose Rishonim, and I did a search according to keywords. For example, I took the word Yerushalmi and all its variations. It could be Yerusha, Yerushal, Yerulashmi, basically any variation or permutation of the word Yerushalmi, of course, with Ha-Yerushalmi, Ba-Yerushalmi, the prefixes. And I said, search for this word throughout the Rishonim database. The rationale being that whenever a Rishon quotes Yerushalmi, he'll say, and it says in the Yerushalmi. Just one second, Isaac. And then once I got that crude information, I had to actually, refine it. So I would have to, first of all, you'd have to decide whether he's really referring to Yerushalmi. At the beginning, I would get back Targum Yerushalmi and stuff like that, which was irrelevant. Mm-hmm. But most of the stuff is really Yerushalmi. Then you've got to go and choose, how much of that quote do you want to take in, right? I mean, he just gives you the word Yerushalmi. So I had to choose how much I wanted to copy and paste into this column over here. From there. And then, of course, I would have to find out which Yerushalmi is he talking about. So basically, the way I populated this table is from left to right. I would first find the crude reference to Yerushalmi, be it the Rashba or whatever. I would then have to read the Yerushalmi read the Rashba and decide, which lines are relevant. and put them over here, and then work backwards and figure out, which Yerushalmi he's talking about. When you learn Bavli, the Tosfot will say, Ve'ita begitin perik shlishi, whatever. But the Rishonim, when they reference you to Yerushalmi, they just say, oh, Ita Yerushalmi. And, go look for it there. So sometimes it could be quite challenging. Another key word was Ma'arava. Talmud de Bnei Ma'arava, Gemara de Bnei Ma'arava. That's how I got the bulk of material. Now, there are cases where a Rishon quotes Yerushalmi without indicating that he's actually that he's actually quoting Yerushalmi. So those are more challenging, and admittedly, I might have missed those. That's a problem. And of course, according to what I'm explaining now, anything which is not in the Bar Ilan Shoot project won't appear in this database. In a sense, my database is a subset of the Talmud of the Bar Ilan Shoot project. I've gone a little bit beyond that recently because I kind of finished doing everything in the Shoot project, and I'm just waiting for the next version to come out. So, for example, Motzei Shabbos, I actually indexed something called Sefer Ha'agur by Rav Shmuel Jama, one of the early Rishonim. And I just, went through the book and had to manually type in the things. But that's really very time consuming, and I just rather prefer for the Shoot project to do that first, and then I'll just take it from there. I'm going to try to preempt another question, and that is, well, if everything is in the Bar Ilan Shoot project, what is your added value, right? I mean, I'll just look for it myself. So the answer is, yeah, but the most important part of this database is to find quotes of Yerushalmi which are quoted differently than our Yerushalmi. So for example, if you tell me, listen, you know what, I'll just plug in some words from those first 11 lines of the Brachos Yerushalmi and do a global search in Project Hashut, I should get back anything you do. Yes, but if any of the Rishonim actually have a different girsa of that Yerushalmi, you're not going to find it because you're going to be plugging in what you know, or according to the version of Yerushalmi that you have, and you'll be missing out all those different versions, which you're probably more interested in. If you want, okay, Besettel. So hopefully that's enough. Yes. So Isaac, you're asking something?
Yes, I was wondering if it has the capability, or if the plan is to incorporate binding fragments, which I think is like the really hot topic these days and finding manuscripts in general, but specifically for the Yerushalmi.
Yeah, no, I have nothing to do with that, right? You said binding fragments?
Yeah, so like David Rosenthal's new edition on Escorial has the Italian Geniza binding fragments.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant something else. Well, anything that appears, let me just get that book. You might, here. For many years, all we had was this Ginsburg, Sridei Yerushalmi, which is very much outdated. And actually right before Shavuos this year, Zussman finally came out with this book, Ginzei Yerushalmi. This is a fantastic book. It contains every single fragment of Yerushalmi that has been found until today. And when you said binding fragments, I thought at the beginning you meant putting together different bits and pieces of fragments. But you're talking about what's been found lately in the European Geniza. Yeah. So anything and everything that's been found in here is here. What I can offer is simply in my database where it says Kite Geniza is to tell you, that Yerushalmi that you're looking for appears in this book on page so-and-so. They recently found another piece from Megillah and Chagiga, which is actually not in this book. And I'm waiting for Mauro Pirani to publish it. And he refuses to send a copy until it's actually published. But that won't be in this book, for example. Okay, so let's go on. So I briefly described that your question, how exactly this database has been built. This is the results table. Almost no matter what type of search you perform, you will get this table with these columns. So I'm just going to go through it again. The first column gives you details about which base you're in, Kitei Gniza, Rishonim. Let me just skip to the end so we can see some the other two databases. Okay, here we have what's called mechkari. Mechkari is basically academic work. And here you even see achronim. So by doing the search in the beginning of brachos, I was able to show you a table which has all 4 databases present. Now you'll notice, let me just go back one page. Yeah, you'll notice that once we move from Rishonim to the other databases, Mechkari, which would be academic research, then this table over here is missing. Because, for example, over here, I'm referring you to a work by Ginsburg. The work is Perushim Vechidushim, wherever that may be. And, I don't have copyrights, nor do I have the actual text that I can present over here what he says there. So the best I can do in these cases is really just give you a bibliographical reference. Oh, look at that. Okay, so we'll in 5 minutes we'll just all exit and then re-enter to the same link that I gave you. Okay. Okay. In this case, if you put the cursor over this blue thing, then you get a little window which gives you a precise reference where what exactly I'm talking about. Sometimes, if I have for example, over here, in the case of Zecharia Frankel, so that book is no longer copyrighted, and I actually have a PDF of that book. So when you put your cursor over this, you'll get a little hand. You see, it turns into a little hand. Up here, it just gives you a window, but over here, it turns into a little hand, a pointer, and it gives you the reference. If you click on this, he will open up that PDF in a separate window. He won't open it up on the exact page that you're given here. He'll open it up on the first page and you'll have to scroll through, but this will save you, whatever it will save you. So either you get a little window with the reference, or you get a hand and then you can actually open up a PDF. So that's how the database really looks. You perform a search, and you get back these rows with really very precise information of where we are. Now, there's finally over here, you have this column called He'ara, which means comment. And here, every now and then, I might have a comment which may be relevant. And you can find that comment over here. Soon we'll talk about where these comments are more important. Now, another feature here is that you can organize the table according to any column that you wish. For example, if you want to see everything the Ramban said on the sugya, then you can just click Hamchaber, and he will reorder the entire table in alphabetical order. Right now we're beginning from Aleph and so on and so forth. I found this very useful when I want to see everything a particular Rishon has to say about the sugya. Instead of going through 30 different records, I just organize it according to alphabetical order. And then, you can say anything the Or Zarua has to say, the Or Chachaim, or what have you. The downside of this is that here he can mix up between the different databases. He's no longer loyal to this first column. He'll mix up Rishonim, Achronim, whatever. But since it's in alphabetical order, you'll always be able to find the particular person you're looking for. Okay, these last 2 columns you see over here are back office columns. So you won't see them by you, Aricha and number. This is really just what I have. I can actually edit, change, erase, whatever, any column I want to, but that obviously is not open for public use. But that's what you have over there. So now you've basically been introduced to the most important search that there is. And we've seen that you can actually access the Yerushalmi. You know, if you don't have the book in front of you and you'd like to do the search, you can just, you know, click on Talmud Yerushalmi here and actually open up and browse through the Yerushalmi to find the proper line and columns that you want. Any questions or comments up until now? Okay, so you'll feel free, you know, whenever. Yeah.
One quick question. Is Rosh Cirilio on the one of the Rishonim that you have listed, like just the Pirushim actually on the Yerushalmi?
No. You're talking about he's relatively late, but no, I mean he has Pirushim, you know, running Pirushim on Brachot and Zelaim, what have you. So that kind of stuff is not in here at all. The Rash Mishans, for example, on Zeraim, you know, which isn't dedicated to Yerushalmi, but it's actually dedicated to the Mishnah, but he has a tremendous amount of Yerushalmi there. So that actually is in the database. But if it's any of those Rishonim who happen to write a Perush on the Yerushalmi, you know, so that is not included here.
Right, so even if,
yeah?
I was gonna say, like, even like if the Pnei Moshe or someone has a different deeper Matchil, then like the Leiden manuscript, that's not in there?
No. The Pnei Moshe is much late. You know, he's way too late. I mean, this is maybe the proper time to say that the Rishonim that I chose to index are Rishonim that all were, what should I say, active before the printing of the Yerushalmi. Once the Yerushalmi was printed, when was it, in basically 1538 or something in Venice, then anybody who quotes Yerushalmi afterwards, or almost anybody who quotes Yerushalmi afterwards, is really irrelevant, because he's more, you know, most probably quoting just from the Venice edition or any of his descendants, so there's no added value. I mean, if I happen to know of somebody, you know, who lived on the border and, you know, the chances that he actually had a Venice edition are very slim, then that type of Rishon would be indexed. But anybody after the printing of the Venice edition is not part of this database. Okay, so let's move on. We did the column row search. The Mishnah search is very similar, except that over here, instead of the parameters of giving the column and row of the Yerushalmi according to the academic edition, you give the name of the Masechet. Okay, so let's say Chala. You'd give the Perek, the chapter. You'd give the Mishnah, and you'd search. Now this is quite a useless search, because you more often than not will get a tremendous amount of material on a very, very large section of the Yerushalmi. I mean, think about, let's say, Yerushalmi Shabbos, Perek Zayin Alachabet, you know, it's like, 4 or 5 columns. So you'll get back hundreds of results. Most of them will be irrelevant. I put this type of search in anyway, but it's really not very useful, because you just get back way too much material on way too big a portion of the Yerushalmi. I think now is a good time for us to log out and then log back in again. We have 2.5 minutes. So it should work. I defined it as a recurring meeting, so we should just leave and then come back to that same link, and hopefully we'll get another 40 minutes. Okay, so I'll see you in 2 minutes.
So we should wait 2 minutes?
No, I'm sorry. I mean, no, see you whatever in a few minutes, in a few seconds. You just leave. I will close the
okay.
totally, and then we'll re-meet. If I can figure out how to do it.